Christian Pulisic joined Borussia Dortmund's youth academy in 2015, and his rapid progression caught the attention of the club's coaching staff. He made his first team debut in January 2016, becoming the youngest non-German player to score in the Bundesliga when he netted his first goal against Hamburger SV. His performances showcased an exciting skill set that combined speed, dribbling ability, and technical proficiency. As a winger, he was known for his explosive pace and ability to take on defenders one-on-one, making him a thrilling player to watch on the pitch. As the first American player to establish himself as a key player for a top European club, Pulisic became a source of pride for American fans. His success at Dortmund brought more attention to the growth of football in the United States and raised hopes for the development of future American talents. During the 2016 to 2017 season, Pulisic recorded several record-breaking moments. He became the youngest player to score 2 goals in a Bundesliga match for Dortmund, and his performances in the UEFA Champions League caught the eyes of European football followers. Pulisic's performances drew comparisons to other great wingers, both American and international. He was often likened to Landon Donovan, another successful American player, and his potential was compared to that of other Dortmund stars like Marco Reus and Ousmane Dembélé. As Pulisic's talent continued to shine, speculation surrounding his future at Dortmund intensified. Top clubs from across Europe were linked with him, heightening the excitement about where his career would take him next. And then Chelsea came calling. When Chelsea initially agreed to sign Christian Pulisic from Borussia Dortmund for £58 million in 2019, the hype around the young star could not have been higher. He was a 20-year-old with the potential to become a household name at Chelsea for the next decade. Through no fault of his own, Pulisic did not hit the ground running at Stamford Bridge. Then coach, Frank Lampard, handed him his full debut in a 4-0 loss to Manchester United at Old Trafford, and he kept his place in the team for the next matches against Leicester City, Norwich, and Sheffield United. But then, his form caught up to him and he was dropped, not to start again until a late October game with Burnley. The time off seemed to be a blessing, as Pulisic ended up scoring a hat-trick in a 4-2 win. This was the kind of performance that Chelsea had invested so heavily in. He followed up in style as he scored in subsequent wins against Watford and Crystal Palace. But the former Dortmund star was unable to sustain that form. He soon suffered a tear to his abductor muscle that put him on the sidelines for the better part of 6 months, including the pandemic-enforced break that season. When he returned, he picked up where he had left off for a moment, recording 8 goal contributions in 9 games. It seemed that he could yet become the player that Chelsea had hoped he could be, but his heroics would not last. His second season at Stamford Bridge was forgettable, for him and for Chelsea as a whole. Lampard was relieved of his duties, and in came Thomas Tuchel, who brought quite the pedigree to the Bridge. This seemed like good news for Pulisic, who had enjoyed the stewardship of Tuchel at Dortmund. But that is not how things panned out. In Tuchel's first 2 months, Pulisic did not start a single game for Chelsea. Whenever he got the chance, Pulisic made the most of his minutes. He played a vital role in Chelsea's run to the Champions League final, scoring his team's only goal in the first leg of their semi-final tie against Real Madrid to secure a 1-1 draw. He also provided the assist for Mason Mount's goal in the 2-0 victory in the return leg in London. He played his part well after coming on as a 68th-minute substitute in the final against Manchester City, helping the Blues to lift the trophy. The next season began with a 3-0 win against Crystal Palace, where Pulisic scored. But soon he tested positive for COVID-19, and when he returned, he sustained an ankle injury which kept him out until November. He played 38 games that season, although in only half of those did he start. In the 2022-23 season, Graham Potter replaced Tuchel and Pulisic declined rapidly. And then, the World Cup came mid-season and granted Pulisic a vital break from his troubles at club level. For the national team, he was a different player. He guided his country to the last 16 as they were knocked out by the Netherlands, but it was not for a lack of trying. However, his misfortunes at club level were to continue as he picked up a knee injury during a loss at home to Manchester City soon after. He was out for 2 months, and by the time he returned, he had fallen down the pecking order due to Chelsea's lavish spending in the January transfer window. In April, Potter was gone, and Lampard was back, with Chelsea languishing in the bottom half of the table. Over the last 6 games of the campaign, Pulisic only played 33 minutes. It was never supposed to end this way for Pulisic at Chelsea. Undoubtedly, his biggest problem at the Bridge was a series of recurring injuries. Several muscle-related injuries and setbacks sidelined him at various points, limiting his playing time and impacting his consistency on the pitch. On top of that, he also had to adapt to different managerial styles and tactics due to frequent changes in Chelsea's coaching staff. Adjusting to new systems and dealing with increased competition for starting spots in a star-studded and ever-changing squad proved to be challenging. Now, despite being a Champions League winner, he leaves with his reputation slightly lessened. His time in London should not be judged as a fail, but it also cannot be judged as a success. Unlike another former Chelsea player, Mohamed Salah, Pulisic has not had to drop off from the elite level in order to rediscover his best self. He moves to Milan, arguably still a giant among the European bigwigs. But Pulisic surely must know that this is his last chance among the elite. Such a chance rarely comes again after a player has had such a tumultuous few years. He has managed to secure a move to another European giant, a move that will give him the chance to right the wrongs of the last few seasons at Chelsea. And, still only 24, he is entering his peak years. It's now or never for Christian Pulisic, his last chance saloon.